Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Ty Franklin here, and I'm back with another real estate video. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about how to comp houses for free by using Zillow. I've been getting a lot of questions from different people in terms of comping properties correctly, how to find the right comps, how to find ARV, how to find the as-is value of the property. And in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the exact steps that I take to answer those questions. So if you're one of those people who does not have access to softwares like PropStream or access to the MLS, this video is exactly what you need to find the ARV and the comp properties correctly. So let's not waste any more time, let's jump right on into it. Before we get into the video, I realized that you weren't subscribed to the channel. If you can hit that like button, that helps with the algorithm so the video can be exposed to people like yourself so they can get the same value that you're about to get. Hit that subscribe button. By subscribing to the channel, that lets me know that the content that I'm providing, you are getting value and is helpful. As always, thanks for your support. Now let's get into the video. So the first thing you want to do obviously is go to Zillow.com. When you get to Zillow.com, you go ahead and put in your subject property's address. So for this example, I'm using this property right here, 1239 Vintage Point Drive. And you want to analyze the property. You want to understand the property specs, right? You want to understand the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the square footage. You want to understand the year built, what year it was built in, things like that. You want to look at the property. And I also have, to help you out, insert all the right criteria to make sure that you're doing it correctly. If you're interested, I have a comping checklist. The comping checklist pretty much outlines all of the filters, all of the criteria you need to look for to ensure that you are getting the right comparables when you put it in any software that you're using, whether it's Zillow, Redfin, or PropStream, or any tool that you're using to comp properties. I have a comping checklist. So if you're interested in grabbing that, make sure you click the link in my description and grab my Wholesaler's Toolkit. It'll be inside that Wholesaler's Toolkit. Very helpful. So now we analyze the property. We see that it's a 2-bed, 3-bath, 1,300 square foot house built in 1997. It's a townhouse, has a 1-car garage, 2-story property, right? Those are the key things that we're looking at. So now we want to make sure we go and look at in the neighborhood. We want to see what's happening in the neighborhood. So let's go and hit the map here. Right? And make sure the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the property that we are looking at is highlighted. So it's right here, the one for $259. It's going to have for sale when you first do it. But what we want to do is we want to, first thing, before we do anything, we want to make sure that we remove the boundary and we draw. So we want to find what's going on in this particular neighborhood. So this example is a little bit different because it's a townhouse. So with all townhouses, we want to see all the activity that's been going on with townhouses in that particular neighborhood, right? So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and draw, to make it a whole lot easier. All of these are townhouses, right? So they're going to have pretty much the same criteria. So this is going to be an easier example, but you can apply the same tactics and strategies to any property. For example, if we were in this neighborhood, then we would just draw around here, right? And we're just gonna hit apply. So now we see our property there, but what we're gonna do, we wanna make sure that we're looking at sold properties only, okay? Sold properties only, because the value of a property is what someone is willing to pay for it. So don't look at for sale. We can use for sale as a guideline to kind of see what it may sell for, but to identify accurately what the property will sell for, it has to be sold. We have to look at sold comparables. So we go ahead and apply. Now we see all these properties pop up here. So anything in yellow, that means it's sold. Now, next thing we want to do, we want to go ahead and identify the bedrooms and bathrooms, right? So we saw our property was a 2-bed, 3-bath. So what we want to do is select 2+, and then you can select any here and just look at it, right? So I'll just leave this as any, but if you want to put 2 bathrooms or whatever the case may be, you can go ahead and hit apply. So let's do that. And then we want to look at the home type. Mind you, these are all townhouses, so we want to make sure that we're not comparing a townhouse with a single family house, right? Or vice versa. If you're working on a single family house, you don't want to compare it with a townhouse unless you absolutely have to, and the year built is the same, and the bed and bathroom is the same, and the square footage is the same, etc. So we're going to go ahead and select townhomes. hit apply. And then the next filter that we're gonna put in, we're gonna make sure that we do our year built. So this property was built in 1996, I believe. So let me go ahead and double check that. 1997. So what we wanna do, we wanna make sure that we are staying within the same decade. I like to do within the same decade for the most accuracy, the same decade or older. So being that this property was built in 1997, I wanna put a max of 1999. I don't wanna go into the 2000s because those properties tend to be a little bit different, built a little bit differently, all those things. So I like to stay in the same decade if I can. Now, if you start getting into 2000 plus, then you wanna stay within like 5 years of the year built, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and put 1999. That's all I care about. And then I want to look at the sold and last, right? So we want to see how long ago these properties were sold. So obviously, if the property sold in a shorter period of time, for example, in the last 30 days, those are going to be more accurate comps, right? But since nothing's showing up, let's go 90 days. Let's see what shows up. Only one result showed up for the last 90 days. So let's go back 6 months. Let's see what happens in the past 6 months. So ideally, you want to stay in that 6-month period, right? Now on the comping checklist, it has some modifications on there in case you can't find anything within the last 6 months, okay? So make sure you grab that comp checklist so you can understand how to modify your searches to find the right comparables. So we're just going to put the last 6 months because we have a good amount of results here that we can look at and analyze. And we're going to hit apply. So now we have 5 different properties, right? And as we look at our property, remember what we're looking at, the type of property that we're looking at, right? It's a 2-story property. It has a garage, 1-car garage, 3 beds, 2 beds, 3 bath, right? 1,300 square feet. So all of our criteria, all of our filters are pretty much set, okay? You can set the square footage if you like. Let's go ahead and do the square footage. So ours is 1,300. We want to go 300 more and 300 less. So from 13, let's say 1,750 max, and then 300 less, 1,000. So anywhere between the 1,000 square feet to 1,700 square feet is what we're looking at to compare. Those are the correct filters and criteria for our property. So we're gonna go ahead and hit apply. Now that we hit apply, now we're gonna analyze what we see, okay? Now, all of these are the similar property as our subject property. Now we need to understand what makes these different and why these properties sold for what they sold for, okay? So this property here, let's look at this one. This one sold for $298. Said it was a 2-bed, 2-bath, sold, within the last 6 months, obviously. But what I see here is a 2-car garage. It's a bit bigger square footage, right? And then what I like to do, I like to look at the home details. I like to see if the property was renovated, because sometimes if they don't have photos on Zillow, you can take it to Redfin or Trulia or Realtor.com to find photos of the renovated property. But sometimes they may not have it. So what I like to do is look at the home details and see if it was renovated. So it might say newly renovated home, granite countertops, new stainless steel appliances, new floors, new paint, fresh paint, things like that. So that's what I'm looking for. So this one, new roof, new gutters, new concrete siding, new paint, new deck. So this one, down here it says unfinished bedroom, stub bathroom, easy remodel. So it looks like they did some renovations to this property, but not many. But this one sold for $298. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark that down as a possible comparable, a possible comp. All right. So now I'm gonna go back, and then I'm gonna look at the other ones. Now, what makes this one different, this doesn't look like a 2-story house. This is like a 3-story property, right? So you can go zoom in, and it's a 3-story property. Ours is a 2-story. So I don't really wanna use that one as a comp, but I will if I need to. So I'm gonna just go ahead and just mark that down just in case. And like I said, there's a modification on the comping tool, comping checklist to help you identify what to do when there's nothing there. So let's go back. So let's look at the ones that look just like ours, okay? So this one sold for $191, looks just like ours, 2-story property, all right? Now, it's a 3-bed, 3-bath. Ours is a 2-bed, 3-bath, so it has one more bedroom than ours has. and it's about the same square footage. It doesn't have a garage, so it sold for $191. Now let's look at the details to see if it was renovated. Doesn't say anything about it being renovated. This property probably sold off market. Don't know if it sold for cash or not, but if it doesn't have a description, 9 times out of 10, it probably sold off market, and that's what you need to utilize softwares like PropStream or the MLS to dig in a little bit deeper. But from the looks of it, it probably wasn't renovated, and it doesn't have a 1-car garage, and it has a 1 more bedroom than our property. Same square footage, so everything is similar. So we're gonna go ahead and mark that 191 down. Now let's look at this one for 255. Now this property sold for 255, 1 more bedroom than ours, same square footage. It's a 2-story property, just like ours. Doesn't have a garage, which is different, but looks like it's in fair condition. They got new floors in here, or decent floors. Nothing really renovated here. This is fair condition, like original condition when it was built. So it's move-in ready. Missing the toilet over there, but nevertheless, this one sold for 255, and it sold, a little bit sooner. So I'm looking at this one as, okay, 255, in a fair condition, good condition, might be a good as-is comp. This is not the after repair value, but this is like a fair condition comp. There's a difference, and I'm gonna show you here shortly. So let me go back, and let's look at this one for 315. So this one for 315 looks exactly like our property, right? Has the 2-story, 1-car garage. And let me go back, 2-story, 1-car garage. Exactly like our property, but it was renovated, and it sold for 315. So I can say, and you go down to the details here, you see, obviously it looks renovated, but if you want to look into it, you said beautiful LVP, kitchen brand new granite countertops, all these different things, right? So this property was updated, renovated, looks good, and it sold for 315. So this one sold more than any of the other comparables because it was renovated. So I'm gonna take this to my bank and say that this property, once it's fixed up, can sell for $315,000, all right? Now, the only difference in this property and ours is it has 1 more bedroom. So what I can do, if you look on the modifications, I'll subtract probably like $10,000 for a bedroom. So I would say my property fixed up, or the subject property fixed up, can sell for about 300 or 305 based off of that, right? And that's gonna be my after repair value, or my ARV. And I'm gonna look at the other property that sold for 255, and I'm going to say, being that this property has 1 more bedroom, and it's in fair condition, not updated, not renovated, it's in fair move-in ready condition, I'm gonna probably deduct another $10,000, which is a modification, and say that this property, my property, might be able to sell for 245, or at the bare minimum, okay? So I'm going to be more conservative than I'm going to be aggressive, because you want to be conservative on your numbers. If you're conservative on your numbers and the property sells for more, then that's great. But if you're aggressive on your numbers and the property sells for less, then that's not good. So you want to be more on the conservative side than the aggressive side when it comes to comps and finding the ARV and finding the as-is value. And that's pretty much the breakdown on how you can utilize Zillow for free to input the filters and the criteria to find the correct comparables and ARV of your subject property. Now, once again, if you're interested in grabbing the comping checklist, make sure you click the link in my description below to get the Wholesale Real Estate Toolkit. Inside the toolkit, you'll get the comp checklist, you'll get scripts, you'll get contracts, and you'll get offer calculators and much, much more that will help you close your next wholesale real estate deal. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was valuable. If so, please make sure you like the video, comment any of your questions below, and also subscribe to the channel for more wholesale real estate videos and tips. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.